Every year on May 16th, we celebrate World Day of the Boy Child. This special day is dedicated to raising awareness about the unique challenges and opportunities facing boys around the world. Boys encounter a wide range of challenges as they navigate through life. From societal pressures to gender stereotypes, they often face obstacles that can impact their well-being and development. But amidst these challenges, boys also possess incredible strengths, resilience, and potential. They are artists, athletes, scholars, and leaders in their own right. Voice of Men 360 invites you to commemorate the World Day of the Boy Child. Let's celebrate the diversity and talents of boys everywhere. Let's empower them to embrace their uniqueness, follow their passions, and strive for their dreams. Together, let's create a world where every boy has the opportunity to thrive, succeed, and make a positive impact. Happy World Day of the Boy Child.
Thank you for that wonderful video introduction. This is a special Voice of Men 360 podcast commemorating the World Day of the Boy Child 2025. To everyone who is tuned in to us today, a big hearty welcome to you all. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Today we gather to shine a spotlight on the often overlooked challenges faced by boys and young men worldwide. I'd like to acknowledge the pioneering work of Dr. Jerome Tilaksing of International Men's Day, who launched the World Day of the Boy Child movement years ago. His vision for a more supportive and inclusive environment for boys has inspired us all. Thank you, Jerome. As we celebrate this important day, we're honored to have an esteemed panel of international experts join us to discuss critical issues affecting boys and young men, from inequality to mental health, to child soldiers, father absence, illiteracy, and disincentivization. At the controls in London, Ontario is our President Sivam, and also with me today, virtually of course, sitting 8,000 kilometers away in Ankara, Turkey, is my wonderful co-host, Esra. Hello, Esra. It's a pleasure to have you aboard. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me, Dipchand and Sivam. So I'm the administrator and research coordinator for Voice of Man 360. Currently, I'm residing in Ankara, Turkey. Thank you.
Thanks, Ezra. At this time, I would want to take a somber moment here to acknowledge all the boys worldwide who have lost their lives far too soon, of course, and too often in circumstances that are both heartbreaking and preventable. To those who have been taken from us, we remember you, we honor your memory, and we strive to create a world where every boy can grow up safe, supported, and loved. May your stories inspire us to work harder for a brighter future for all boys. Before the main event with our distinguished guests, here's a brief outline about our organization, followed by our disclaimer. First of all, my name is Dipchand Ramcharitar. I'm the Outreach and Development Coordinator at Voice of Men 360. Voice of Men 360 is a non-profit organization based in London, Ontario, Canada, primarily focused on the uplifting and advocating for men and boys, though we also reach out as best we can to other demographics. Voice of Men 360 is part of International Men's Day, which was founded more than 20 years ago and provide similar services for men and boys in over 90 countries. So first of all, let's now get to the disclaimer. we would like to remind you that Voice of Men 360's mission is always delivered with good faith towards peaceful harmony. The views and opinions expressed in today's episode are those of our speakers and do not necessarily represent Voice of Men 360. Our organization engages in discussion forums to offer inspiration and create awareness of the issues of men who wish to overcome their life challenges. We are not providing medical or therapeutic advice. Should you require that type of assistance, we recommend you contact a medical professional immediately. If you have any questions or concerns about today's episode or any Voice of Men 360 content, please email us at info@voiceofmen360.org. Now on to the main part of the show, and for each guest, I would call out your individual names, ask you for a brief introduction, and at the same time, to share your expertise related to boys' issues. So first of all, let's see who's first on the list here. Gwen, can you start us off, please? You're muted, Gwen.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Gwen. I represent Mpowermen Foundation in Curaçao. It's a little island in the Caribbean. And we're an organization, nonprofit, dedicated to strengthening the role of boys and men in a society now for 7 years. We focus on boys and also International Men's Day and programs throughout the years. I'm a social worker, neurolinguistic practitioner coach, and a Hilal facilitator. And what we aspire to join organization on the island and talk about and raise awareness and start a conversation and create practical solutions that can help boys and men embrace their full selves and including their emotional lives. That's
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Gwen. Shiva?
Thank you all for having me here. Hello, everybody. I am Shiva Ranjani. I'm from India. I'm an emotional intelligence mentor based on holistic practices. So I myself have been very anxious and depressed in 2019. So I have taken like 35 plus courses on personal growth, know how to be happy and healthy. And I teach it today to many people. And I have invested around 7,000 plus hours in learning and practicing all those lessons. I live independently alone since Feb 2021. I have gone on solo trips to Goa, Thailand, here in and around India. And a lot of men, angelic men have helped me along the way in those trips. And we need more of those kind men. So I'm here to, share my views so that we have a better mental health. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Shiva. Daniel?
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel John Rossi. I'm currently in Austin, Texas, surrounded by Texas in the States. I come from both sides of the desk, having personal experience being a boy and being bullied, which led me to my pursuit that everyone gets noticed and supported, and the work that I've done on panels, creative programs, trainings, workshops, working in mental health field, or working on the streets.
Thank you, Daniel. Todd?
Good morning from Ontario, Canada. I currently am a supervisor of adult services for community living in Welland, which supports people with disabilities. But for the last 10 years, we are supporting transition age youth who are coming to us with mental health, fetal alcohol. We're having a struggle finding good support for those individuals. So this panel I'm hoping can give me some awareness so that I can better support the people that are looking to receive service from us.
Thank you very much, Todd. Esra, can you kick us off with a question too?
Yes, definitely. So the first question is, what inspired you to get involved with the World Day of the World Child, and what do you hope to achieve?
For me personally, I've been coaching minor hockey for the last over 30 years, ranging boys from the age of 9 up to 20. And I've seen the landscape has changed over those last 30 years, that I've had to learn 15 personalities per year, their family background, so that I can best support them. And I know it's just hockey, but it carries over into their school life, into their family life. So this was a great opportunity to talk to different people, to learn some new strategies for me, so that I can best support them when I'm on the ice with them.
Anybody else chip in?
Yes. So in India, there is a strong emphasis on the well-being and development of girls, but boys too face unique societal pressures. So by participating here in this World Day of Boy Child, I aim to raise awareness of the mental, emotional, and social issues boys face, such as societal expectations around masculinity, especially. So I help to foster an environment where boys are encouraged to express themselves without any fear of judgment, to break from limiting stereotypes. And I have my nephew on my mind the entire time I'm concerned. Thank you.
For me, it's basically, I grew up without my dad, and we are on the island. You have a lot of single moms. And as a social worker, when I started to evaluate and see what is happening with men and boys in our community, it started my interest to go and look for the core, the why we have family structures like we have on the island. And we started focusing on International Men's Day and bring awareness on a positive male role model. And then when we started to see how actually it was so difficult to gather men, to have men come together and talk about their challenges. And we thought about, hey, how about we start a little younger? And that's when I went and looked up online, and I came across the International Day of the Boy Child. And I say, oh, this is the perfect way to also bring awareness that we need to start earlier to help boys so they can be a better man. So that's our inspiration.
My inspiration was to come and help celebrate this, amazing opportunity, because most boys and most men are not celebrated, and we've lost our traditions of celebration. And my hope is that from my experience on both sides of the desk, either lived experience or professionally, that I can help plant some seeds in the ripples, that every boy one day will know that they're safe and they have the encouragement to fulfill on their life and what's important to them.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Daniel. So now we come to what I consider the dreaded term, toxic masculinity. So this is a two-part question. As advocates for men and boys, we're concerned about the potential harm caused by the term toxic masculinity. So, Pande, how can we thoughtfully discuss the complexities of masculinity without perpetuating negative stereotypes? And the second part is, what impact do you think this term has had on boys and young men? And how can we promote a more nuanced understanding of masculinity So you can raise your hand and go on, each one of you, as you see fit. Thank you.
So we must first understand that masculinity is not a one-size-fits-all concept. In the Indian context, we often see patriarchal notions of masculinity that restrict both boys and girls from doing certain activities. So discussing masculinity should focus on breaking away from these rigid stereotypes and promoting a healthy, balanced view of what it means to be a man. We need to highlight diverse representations of masculinity that include emotional depth, kindness, and vulnerability, which are often seen as signs of strength rather than weakness, especially vulnerability.
Thank you, Siva. Who's next? Daniel?
For me, keeping, like, how do I say this? For me, it's about going back and starting to listen to what's being said and what's not being said. And so many times, what's passed on, it's hurt people hurting people, and it's not always intentional. And breaking out of the shell that this is the structure of a male or this is masculinity, and allowing truly to have that safe space that people can come as they are and learn that they are supported, learn that they have value. And some of the biggest interrupters at times will just, because they were hurt or they weren't given the space, will be acting out. But being able to listen for we can hear what's there can make a difference for people. And that just doesn't happen for that individual, but our community at large and the world at large, in my experience.
Yeah, so very true. Todd?
Hey, Danny, you're so correct. A safe space is something that a lot of the boys have never experienced in their life. They come with so much trauma, and to start a safe conversation with them takes a lot of time for them to, I guess, respect in you. And if it takes a year, then it takes a year, but they need to know that they're safe and they got somewhere that they can bounce ideas off of, talk about their past. We don't have to be counselors, just an open mind and a respectful ear.
Good point, Todd. Gwen?
Yes, for me, I think toxic is a trend. The word is becoming a trend, and everything is now toxic. We don't look further than what's really happening with the person and what's the reason she reacts like he reacts. And for me, is it also what already has been said, understanding where the emotions, anger, where does that come from? So it's more understanding than big on saying, oh, that is toxic, this is toxic. And so it's very important, and as I say this as a woman, also to create that safe space to help young boys and men redefine what this means, masculinity, and talk about with each other as men and boys what this means.
Absolutely, Gwen. Thank you so much. Esra, can you get to question 4 and call out the individual guest names so there'll be a better flow? Thank you.
Yes. So the question is, in today's climate, what messages, including those from media and pop culture, do boys receive from a young age about how they should act or feel? That's A, question 1. 2 is, as a society, what practical steps can we take, including challenging traditional gender expectations to address situations where boys have felt pressure to act in a certain way because of their gender. If Todd, you'd like to go?
Sure. So part one, what I find with the people that I work with, the lack of male role models in their life tends to lead them to whatever social media perceives as masculine. So for them, seeing, I guess, athletes or stars treating people how they shouldn't be treated is what they think is masculine, whether it's they need fancy cars or they need fancy shoes, whatever it is. It's more materialistic than being a man. I've had conversations about why do you think that makes you such a masculine man? And they think because X does it or Y does it. So I think they're cool, but it's tough when they don't have a strong male role model to show them what it's supposed to be, a man. So I'm finding it really difficult with people that don't have a male figure in their life. And could you repeat part 2 for me, please?
Esra, can you repeat the second part of the question?
Okay.
Yes.
Natutunan.
So the second part of the question is, as a society, what practical steps can we take, including challenging traditional gender expectations to address situations where boys have felt pressure to act a certain way because of their gender?
Right. Okay. So I've given it, like Daniel said before, a safe space. I've really encouraged people to be unique, whether it's against society. They're different people. You don't have to conform to what society says, or back again, when they don't have that strong role model, they just kind of fall into what's expected through social media. So I really encourage them to be their own person so that they can be who they want to be.
Okay. Thank you, Todd. Esra, continue by identifying each one individually so they know it's there too.
Yes. Okay. Shiva?
Yes. So here in India, there is a huge image in the media that represents, how men should be like macho, strong, often very emotionally distant, and they have to have that, like posture, like that this person is kind of strict or something like that. And boys are taught that showing vulnerability or emotions like fear, sadness, or love is a sign of weakness. And this creates a lot of internal pressure and can actually affect their mental health. It's not actually healthy to suppress the emotions. It is very extremely healthy to express all the emotions they feel. And it is healthy to allow the emotions to be expressed in healthy ways, like journaling, or through any art they have. And definitely having a safe space enables a boy child or the teenage boy to express what they want to say and have their doubts cleared. And we need to challenge these outdated norms by promoting a routine at home, like open conversations at homes, schools, and even in public spaces. And there has to be like specific training even has to be given to people who can facilitate that. Teachers, parents, and community leaders can work together to teach boys that it is okay to express their emotions, and that doing so doesn't make them any less of a man. So I myself have seen people in my life where men by their grandparents or parents were told you should not cry like a woman. You have to be like put yourself together. Even today I had a client, male mentee, and he had this one negative belief written that big boys don't cry, and that originated from his childhood. And I asked him, like, we are working on this. We are going to change it for better, right? So how would you like to change this positive, negative belief to positive? And he said, so men has to be like silent and upset about it. I was like, no, that is not we are working on. We are working to express it in healthy ways. So you need not be silent. When people, boys, teenage boys, you need not suffer in silence. If there is anything like, there are many people who are supporting, so reach out. Solutions are definitely available.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yes. I recently experienced a situation where two boys were in a conversation. They are brothers. And the 4-year-old, the 6-year-old brother gives the 4-year-old brother a hug. And the brother was like, act like a man. And I thought, let me get more into this. And I asked, what does that mean? He said, act like a man. I'll ask for the second time, what does that mean? How does man act? And he showed me, men act like this. And I say, how do women act? Women act like this, he said. And I also asked him, where did you hear that? He said, my father told me to act like a man. And I found that very interesting because it's cultural. So to bring also awareness to like you already mentioned about role models, if the role models are not aware how and what to say to these little boys to help them be more aware of their emotions and how to act like a man. I say that this act like a man because what is that? To have better conversation about what that means. So if I give you a hug, is that not acting like a man? So it start earlier in as a child, how we address boys, and also like you already said, men don't cry. They hear those things, and when I ask, when I give workshops and training, I ask, and these things keeps repeating themselves because they heard it somewhere and they keep it with them, and that's one of the biggest reasons in cultural wise, boys keep on repeating those patterns and doesn't know better. So role models are very important and bringing the conversations. So what we can do to do that is keep talking about what does it mean to be a man, have emotions, have role models, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gwen.
Sorry, go ahead, Esra. I think we have Daniel yet to come.
So, growing up as a boy, being told those things like boys don't cry, pick up yourself up by your bootstraps, constantly being bombarded by the adults around us, the television or the internet, and the continuously waves of that being told to us as boys, and it being echoed around. I think really stepping up and having that interrupting conversation of like leaning in and like, what is a boy or what is a man? And I was not taught about emotions. So I had extreme emotions, anger and hate and these explosions because I didn't always have the words. We weren't given the tools to lean in and explore what those feelings are. What's a feeling? All I know is I got to be within the box of what a man is, or what a boy is. And as I've gotten older, realized there's many emotions, but I didn't have the tools or the way to find out what they were because they were never talked about. And having role models that, you know, have the big house and treat people badly, that's a norm now, unfortunately. But I think everyone's responsibility is to step up and interrupt that conversation and model like what good relationships are. Unfortunately, bad news sells. So sometimes our ability to talk to people and show them other ways might get murdered or muddled in the conversation. But I think being a role model and being able to have some of those hard conversations makes that difference for so many of us.
Okay, thank you, Danielle. I believe Pande has joined us, so I know he has been having some technical difficulties. It seems that he was here a minute ago, but I'm not seeing him right now. So hopefully he can join us soon. Let's move on to another question. For what are some common mental health issues boys face, particularly when they're socialized to suppress emotions like sadness, fear, or stress? And what solutions can schools offer, including creating supportive environments that encourage boys to openly discuss their mental health? We're going to start off with Todd.
Sorry. As far as the schools go, to be supportive and have them have a safe spot to come and talk to, I think I know for our school board, for the young boys, we're lacking any sort of counseling, understanding. I know of one example that there was I guess not really a fight, but some pushing on a playground for grade 8 students. And the boy that started it, he obviously got a in-class detention, but the boy that took it, he was brought down to the office asking why he started it. And he didn't start anything. The boy was a bully. So going forward now, he's not going to talk to the principal or any other teacher again, because he's the one that got himself in trouble. So our school system needs to start, I don't know how they can better themselves, but they have a lot of policies and procedures in place, but they don't seem to follow them. And then they offer some outside counseling, but the counselor is one and done or two and done. There's no follow through, and all they really tell them is how to suppress your anger, suppress your emotions. So, and I only know it's because of the family. So they've had to find outside counseling that support this boy, knowing that, you know what, it's okay to get angry, it's okay to show emotion, but they're teaching him the proper way to go about it. And I've seen a big improvement in this boy in the last, I guess this happened in October. Since October, he's got some really good coping strategies and some good tools that I think they need from an outside source, not somebody in the school board, because I could be wrong, but I think they're just a bit biased when it comes to what the policies and procedures are. So I'm not sure what the schools can do, but I know there's great outside support for people that need to show their emotions and not always keep it encapsulated, that they can't be angry. So I'm hoping the school can get a little bit better, but I know the outside sources are really beneficial for a lot of young boys.
Yeah, thank you, Todd. Gwen?
I am also a teacher, and I worked in schools, and it was very difficult because I am a social worker, but I also teach. So when you see issues in school, and here on the island, you have one social worker for like 6 schools. And those schools are, you have 300, 400 youth going there. So it's impossible to have effective counseling for issues. So it's like you're constantly, how do you say it? Like with a bucket of water, like damping the fire, like they say. So it's not effective. Schools are not effective addressing mental issues. And my point of view is start with teaching the teachers, make them aware. There is a report here in 2009. They called it the boy problem here on the island, and there's the only report we have that UNESCO made a research on the boy problem, but that is the only report we have about boys issues, of boy challenges. And I read it, and it said that we have a lot of female teachers, and it comes back to the role model part. But as a female teacher growing up without a dad, it's difficult for them to understand how boys and men are. So when they see behavior in men and boys, they get triggered. And if they don't understand where that comes from, it's more likely to say to the boy, get out of the classroom, and you're being difficult, you can't behave, etc., rather than, again, understanding what is going on with this child or with this boy. So for me, is it really make them aware of cultural patterns, but also how our culture influences the teacher's behavior, but also the behavior of the child. And the safe space is safe space and safe environment to help boys talk about it. That is definitely the most important thing. And school can do, for example, emotional check-ins at the beginning of the class. I did that with the class. I say, we start this conversation, and you see how interested girls and boys are in having personal, sharing their stories, when you create that safe space, sharing their stories, talk about relationship, emotions, and then I will start my class, and I will say, if we get through this material at the end of the class, we can talk about this a little bit more. So when the teachers know better, they can create little moments, if that's effective, little moments to help the class have conversation about this type of issues.
Okay, thank you, Gwen. Danielle?
I think that and I've experienced, there's a big need for mental health and support, and especially with boys. And the lack of resources, we need to get creative. I know that the Center for True Self, and some of the work we've done is going in and providing the opportunity for education for administrators as well as teachers to lean in and have conversations, have those difficult conversations, and provide that sacred space that boys can learn what it is to feel safe and explore. Because as we're growing up, like, things are changing, hair shows up, voices change, and we're continuing to, if we don't speak up, the influences from what people see on TV or online, or the rumors that are coming through that they heard from their friend that this is this, and really have that as an adult speaking up when we see some of those things that aren't, honoring and allowing safety to happen, and have that availability that just because something happens, to be able to put in those people that can have those conversations.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry. Thank you, Danielle. Sifa?
So, boys often struggle with mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and stress, largely because they have thought to repress emotions, and that depression in, like, boys have different signs. They might be angry, picking arguments or become frustrated. They could experience headaches or digestive issues. They might isolate themselves from friends and family. So they might even think like like what's the point, or lose interest in everything. And their coping mechanisms could be, different according to their friends' circle. And it is all done to just avoid facing the negative emotions. Um, they might feel the struggle to finish what they start, difficulties in understanding, open, difficult communication, and taking accountability. Most might have only few of these signs, but when these are visible in somebody, then they definitely need to take help as soon as possible. So schools, they can definitely create more inclusive environments by incorporating mental health education into the curriculum, like having a 40-minute curriculum in the classes, where they encourage boys to speak up about their mental well-being. Maybe they can demonstrate how men can actually be vulnerable, like talking about some relatable problems and how they overcame it, success stories of that. They were not able to cry and they are now doing it in healthy ways. So that demonstration, when someone is leading by example, maybe live in the class or a video record, I think that can be incredibly helpful. And definitely awareness campaigns and peer support groups in schools could also help break down the barriers around mental health for boys. I have a crazy idea. Maybe if there are special discounts for boys in the counseling services offered um, in the services prices from any experts, that can definitely help them, encourage themselves to sign up for those.
Right. Thank you, Shiva. Let's check back to see if Pande is with us. Are you there, Pande? No, I guess not. So, Esra, can we move on to question 6? And again, as I said, call out the individual guest name after the previous one has spoken so that we can have a better flow. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so what are some of the more effective ways to educate, empower, and mentor boys so as to maximize their true potential? Gwen?
I think it's in our culture, bringing mothers together to talk to each other about their challenges. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of single mom in our culture, and more you see that dads are involved in the life of the children. But it's also that not being aware of mothers, how men function. So for me, is it bring people together, and we have. Next week, Saturday, we have one of those sessions when we have professionals, and we did a registration, and a lot of mothers registered to come together because they find it really challenging to educate their boys in today's societies, because what we hear a lot is my kid doesn't talk to me. I ask questions, and I keep pushing, but he don't talk. So it's important to bring mothers together, and also bring dads and older men to have the conversation and teach them and talk about what are the real challenges boys encounter, to help them understand what are the issues boys are dealing with. So for me, is it have the conversation. We don't have these type of conversations in our culture. Is it very difficult to talk about your personal issues. So I have been an advocate of bringing people together and let's just talk about things on International Boys Day, on International Men's Day. That's what I've been doing past 7 years, bringing people together. Let's talk. Let's share with each other our knowledge and best practices.
Thank you, Gwen. Daniel?
I think modeling is a very important thing. And speaking upon that, I just got activated a little while ago. So thank you. It gives me a chance to go back and heal a part of me, activated or triggered, different people call it. But being able to model and share, especially from being a male, like being able to express that, like sometimes we don't have the answers and sometimes we do. And to be able to share that healthy knowledge passed on from generation to generation and have that sacred space where, yes, at times boys can be boys, and have a space where it's safe and people can explore different things. And I think sports is a great place to do that. And also having those conversations of coming together, and also how we perpetuate sometimes. I know that, like, as adults sometimes, and especially with single moms, to turn and tell that boy, like, now he's the man of the house, and or he needs you need to be manly, or that's not, like we talked earlier about, that's not what a boy does, or that doesn't what a man does, of really just holding that space. So hopefully that makes sense.
Can I say one more thing? It's also what we have been doing the past 5 years is a boys summer camp. So we put together a program. So you have the mothers and they have the issues. So I'm also like, let's do effective, help the boy effectively. So we have the boys camp in the age group of 12 till 18. So they come together, and what we focus on is positive psychology. So they come together the first day and we help them introduce themselves and how to connect. So you see, the first day it was very difficult. They are like, I don't like this. I will go someplace where I don't know anybody. So we create a space where they can get to know each other in a fun way. We do a scavenger hunt, and then you see, like, it's very easy actually for boys to connect when you do it in a fun way. And the second day, they get up and get ready and they come. They're excited to be at the boys camp, because you lay the first foundation of connecting with themselves and with each other. So what we do is also focusing on giving compliments. So every day of the boys summer camp, at the end of the camp, we do it with stickers. What did you see in the other young boy that you admire, that you can acknowledge? And you see also the first day is very difficult, but at the end of the week, it gets more easier because you do it in a structural way and you teach them. And we have also male coaches, so they lead also by example. And you see that in a very short amount of time, when you lead by example, you give the example how to do it. And those age range, it is very easy for them to come along, to do, how do you say, to see the role model and act the same way. So yeah, that's what we have been doing the past 5 years, and we have the most amazing results. Parents are like, what did you do to my child? Because they come home and they talk more and they show their boundaries. And mothers are like, okay, now he's more talkative, and then they have to deal with a more talkative boy, and that can show the boundary and say, I like that, I don't like that, I don't love that when you do that. So it has been very effective, and we are searching for more funding to have a longer program throughout the years, and also helping schools to create that safe space so they can explore how to talk with each other as boys in those group ages.
Thank you, Gwen, for sharing. That's a great method that you all have made. Todd?
Daniel and Gwen, you both, I think, hit it right nail on the head when you talk about role modeling. That's so key for young boys to see that there's a success story when you put the work in from the people that they are getting mentored by, because they've gone through what you're going through. They've put the work in, and now look, they're on the other side. Now they're giving back to the community, giving back to young boys. So the role modeling, mentoring I think is crucial for young boys. And I know it was for me when I was a child. So that route, I think, is a real positive way to do it.
Great, thank you so much. And Shiva.
Yes. So definitely mentorship programs that focus on life skills, emotional intelligence, and leadership can play a critical role in empowering boys. So as you all said, like engaging role models, be it local leaders, athletes, or academics who display that empathy, emotional resilience, and success beyond the traditional stereotypes can motivate boys to follow their own paths regardless of the societal expectations. And deep underneath, everybody needs that appreciation and safe space to share what they are going through. So, education and empowerment can definitely help them. They can have some good habits, daily habits, like writing gratitude journal every day, so that they can notice the good in life. They can write success journal every day, like making moves to overcome their challenges, so that that can build the unshakable confidence in them. So, like fostering healthy practices, like boys, they stop, they have fears of failure or being judged. So they need to know the new definitions of success, like, they can know like trying again is success. And so giving those new definitions with practical demonstrations can definitely help them to maximize their true potential, and that can help for a much better world to happen. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Shiva. Dipchand?
Thanks, Esra. It seems unfortunately that Pande can't be with us. He did make a valiant attempt to do so, and unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, it seems that's not going to happen. So thank you, Pande, for all the effort that you put in trying to get on board. So let's move on to question 7. Keep in mind, guests, that we have a limited time. While we do appreciate you exploring these subjects in detail, please keep an eye on the clock as we go along. So the next question is, what strategies or initiatives can help boys develop healthy and respectful relationships with others, particularly in the context of promoting gender equality and understanding? Let's start off with Shiva.
So again, so for this, the solution is like demonstration, right? With especially with the gender equality, some activities are told like only men can do certain activities, and women are supposed to do these activities. No, anybody can do anything they want, and demonstration of that by the elder generation, when they are leading by example, it is so easy to catch up. The kids are not gonna just listen to what the elders are preaching. They are definitely going to observe. When I was a child, I was just observing and I was copying my parents. So that's what's going to happen. They are going to observe the energy. So demonstration is definitely going to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiva. Gwen?
Yes. For me, it's if we talk about strategies, it's very important to have government organizations and government organizations working with nonprofit organizations and people that are part of the society to help create strategies, because we are we are part of the society, so we can help the governments implement effective ways in schools, in after school programs, to to be more effective doing this work. So I also agree with what Shiva already said. So it's very, very important what she said, and also to keep. I don't get tired of saying this, but keep talking about the real issues and not beating around the bush and talk about other stuff than what is really going on.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Gwen. Daniel?
I think it's important to lean in and learn the language of the people that you're working with. And if you look, every generation has a different way or a way of saying things, and especially with the boys today, they speak a different language than I do. One of the reasons I have my long beard is because I was years ago working in a group and I had a goatee and I cut it off, and they're like, "Oh, no, you're old, you don't understand us." I let it grow. I didn't change, but I was able to make that space that they felt more safer. What's culturally important to them? TikTok, the social media, who they're following, being able to step into that, how they relate and how the language,
Right.
and not assume that we know what they're talking about because we've done a different way. Being open to letting them lead.
Exactly. Good point, Daniel. Todd?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I coach hockey, and Daniel's so right. I've had to learn how they communicate and what they're even saying, because I was asking questions I didn't know. But once I got to understand what they were talking about, and I can give some feedback in their language, the respect for me, I think it went to the level that I expected it to be at. And then we could pursue my role as a coach and mentor, because they believed in me, and I got down to their level, which was a lot younger than I am, but it helped me communicate with with my players. And what else we did for equality part was we brought the boys and the girls together for some practices and some games. The boys learned from the girls learned from the boys. It was a great meshing of people, and they wanted to do that. I think it was weekly we did it, to get everybody together so they can all play. They can, I guess, have some sort of bragging rights at school. So it was good to see everybody come together that way. And I really had to learn how to communicate with a younger group, and I think it helped all of us.
Right. Thank you, Todd. Is there anybody else that didn't have an opportunity to speak on the subject? Okay, go ahead, Shiva.
I actually already spoke, but I would like to add a very important point, that is, for understanding, it's not just boys, but everybody needs to understand that, like behind every human behavior, there is, two fears that is rooting them. Like, will I be loved enough, or am I good enough? So if anybody is expressing any kind of negative emotion or even positive emotion, it is definitely rooted from these two fears, and those actions are about meeting them. So if someone is behaving in an angry way or an aggressive way, or if they are just shutting down, so we need to understand they might not be able to open up. So there could be many reasons. So we need to understand, like, why they are behaving in certain way, rather than just attacking them with you're being selfish or you're being so rude or toxic and all that. So we need to, like, create that environment and focus on solutions. So that way, I think we can definitely improve understanding.
Right. Thank you, Shiva. Ezra, can you continue with question 8, please?
Yes. Question 8. What initiatives can be taken to honor and recognize talented and achieving boys? Todd?
Well, speaking when I was a child, I'm going to go with some sort of reward, some sort of praise, recognition. I know young boys still love it today when we recognize their achievements. So I think recognition is crucial when it comes to getting some positive behaviors, or just what they need is recognition.
Thank you. Daniel?
I mean, I agree with Todd. I think recognition is important, and not a, pardon me, fluffy, everybody gets an award, but actually for what they really have accomplished, no matter how big or small that might be. But like, key point of their individuals and highlighting that, the individual.
Okay. Shiva?
Yes, definitely appreciation. Even from their role models or elder males in their family, friends, and wherever they are hanging out. All these people, especially their elder males, when they are appreciating out loud, that's gonna create a better change, right? Like, like hugs, physical touch, and with words like, "Hey John, you did really great." Acknowledging their struggles and validating their success moves, I think that's gonna help them a lot.
Great. Thank you. And you, Gwen?
Yes, I agree. I agree. Um, uh, Showing them that you firstly understand them, understand where they're coming from, show them that you see the effort, I see you, and also publicly recognize them, like you already said. So, and not only in sports, but also when they do different stuff like an art or in poetry, or in like I said, other I say this because it's they're like they say not manly things, when they also do other things that are not sports, that are not what the usual manly things to do. So also recognize when they do effort in speaking more, when showing also their emotions, give compliments, like you're doing great. So yes, publicly recognition, but also that personal touch of, hey, you're doing good, and giving those compliments.
Thank you. Dipchand?
Thanks, Ezra. Now, the next question is, what strategies can society, especially governments and organizations like the UN, implement to rescue boys, including child soldiers, from poverty and war? So let's start off with Gwen.
This is a very interesting question, because I read about it, but I cannot really relate. Um, um, especially as I'm very much doing the work in our culture, and we don't. Yes, in our country, we don't deal with war, etc., etc. So for me, when I read this question, it was more like um, having this again, having conversation, how we can support as a government and working with people in the country that is doing the work, bring them together to help them create more um, strategies to help the community.
Right. Thank you, Gwen. Todd?
I can chime in with, I guess, what just with my local government. I really couldn't. I can't speak to the UN part of it. But we have a FACS, it's called Family and Children Services, who are for 16 and under, and that have been up for adoption. And then they would come to our organization when they turn 16 or 17. But the problem is that everything that they've gone through as children, we don't get any information from them. So we're starting completely fresh, not knowing any strategies or trauma they've gone through. We could open up a whole new can of worms exploring that. Our municipal government needs to open up, I guess it'd be files to their adult agencies so that we can continue with the good work or not touch into the harm. Or so our government needs to do better on helping the children go from a boy into the young man age, and is giving us a strategy that they've already used that worked or didn't work.
Right. I agree with you, Todd. That's very important. Shiva?
Yes. So child soldiers and children in conflict zones often face a bleak future because that effect of that war can be like really traumatic. I recently read a book called The Happiest Man on Earth. It was actually by a person who was like around 100, and how he lived his life in the World War during 1930s. And it was very traumatic for him, even post that war, even though he survived as like 1 in a million or something. So definitely international cooperation is crucial in areas like war zones to prevent like child recruitment and provide immediate support to boys caught in these circumstances. So governments and international organizations must step up efforts to provide education, psychosocial support, and reintegration programs for these boys, creating safe spaces for displaced children, offering vocational training, and ensuring access to healthcare can help these boys rebuild their lives.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shiva. And finally, Daniel?
Once again, having spaces for conversations, not arguments, and on the tail end of it, promote and continuing to have those spaces for those that make it through to deal with their trauma, to be able to deal with the things that they've dealt with, and continuing to have those conversations to find solutions, not wars. Unfortunately, there's not enough conversation. There's too many arguments at times.
Yeah.
Because that's what boys and men do, is we argue and fight versus have conversations.
Good point. Thank you, Daniel. On to question 10, Esra.
Yep, question 10. Question 10, right?
Yes.
How can we eradicate illiteracy and underachievement among boys, and what support systems can be put in place? Todd?
Sorry. What we have in our city is we have a lot of, I guess you would call them after school programs that just concentrate on literacy programs. And it starts at, I believe, at the age of 1. And I know some families that have gone through these programs up till the age, I think you could go till you're 8 or 9. Their children are reading books more than they're playing on their video games. Their families sit and they order books online. They entice their cousins to come by, but don't play on their systems. They're always doing some sort of Lego, something creative and constructive all the time. They've learned that from that young age going to those literacy programs. So if I can encourage anybody that has a young child, get in those literacy programs. You meet great people. You get to do things off of your device. You're outside. So it's really beneficial for the people that I know that have taken their children to literacy programs as a young child.
Thank you, Todd. Gwen?
I would say start early because boys often fall behind because school environments don't match their learning styles. So we need more also active and hands-on learning styles to match and keep the boy interested and be more active to learn and read and write. So they're more active. So find ways, fun ways also to help to get them interested and wanting to do the writing and reading, etc. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. Shiva?
Yes. So this is a very close question to me because my father, he himself has, faced this. So from that perspective, I can say maybe if he has been shown some positive proofs of how literacy, education, and achievement has helped them live a better life. When we show those positive proofs to those kids and enable an interest in them, that will spark that curiosity and that interest to learn and become better. I think this is all of you have given very good points, so I think this can be from our perspective.
Great. Daniel?
Being dyslexic, reading has always been a challenge for me, but when I was introduced that reading and learning to read could be fun, that's when the excitement happened. And having those sacred spaces, I call them sacred spaces, those spaces where exploration can happen and like finding out what can be interesting or what's in between the books or between the pages, those stories, and just having that space for creativity, I think could be very beneficial. Going from not being able to read to having a library over 5,000 books of my own now. And that's because I found the joy in being able to read, which also showed me different sides and different thoughts of like how life could be. And not to get on my soapbox, but for us in the States, stop taking books off the bookshelves for us. Our children need them. So.
Thank you for sharing, Daniel. Dipchand?
Thanks, Esra. Can you give one example of discrimination against boys and how we can address these issues? Let's start with Shiva.
I think sharing more personal story could be more helpful. I have seen this even with my nephew, where my younger sister has, she pampers the girl child more, and he is kind of scolded more, and he let alone with his phone. So I think when there is more quality time with parents, and when they are appreciated and kind of treated equally, even if there has to be like scolding. Of course, it's not healthy to scold, but the time, the attention they give, when it's equal, I think the boys will definitely feel better. The quality time from parents, from their loved ones will make a lot of difference. Where there is like focused, high quality attention, conversation in a safe space about their personal lives, um, and what their needs and desires are, that can help a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Shiva. Daniel?
I would say stop taking the pipelines of taking adult males out of the society and putting them in prison in our country. Unfortunately, certain groups are being removed from their neighborhood because they may be economically not as influential as other ones, or the color of their skin.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely something that should be addressed. Thank you, Daniel. Todd?
The Daniel said it right. We've had such a discrimination of young boys with the color of their skin, and the schools, I know for a fact, are doing some good teaching to the boys that are actually bullying, making fun of. They bring them in, have a good conversation and a good talk, and then they bring the boy in that was being discriminated against, and they have to have that conversation with everybody, and the boy gets to explain how that made him feel when you were talking about them and you really don't even know them. So it's a problem that we have.
Absolutely. And to round it off for Gwen?
I recently had a conversation with a family member. We have a lot of family members. We have people go to the Netherlands, so we have close the education system is also based on a Dutch system, because we have been colonized by the Netherlands, the Dutch. So mostly the boys, like say boys of color, they are diagnosed with whatever it is they will be diagnosed with, because they are more they move a lot, they have a lot of energy, so it's like, hey, this boy can't sit still, so there must be something happening with him. So as parents in this school system, they need to be very aware to not label the boy to have some kind of problem, rather than help him manage his energy. So that's one of the examples I can mention.
Thank you, Gwen. Important as well. So over to you, Ezra. Question 12.
So how can we maintain good values and morals among boys, and what role do role models play? Daniel?
I mean, I think we've been touching about that. I think it's very important for especially males to step up and to model what it is to have proper boundaries and have proper discussions about feelings and emotions, and have that space that people can explore and find their way of what's best for them. And modeling it, I think, is very highly important for that.
Thank you. Todd?
I think it's crucial you don't pass your own judgment and values and morals on other people. You need to have conversations about their history, their culture, and then you take that route. And as a role model, you have to stay, I guess, be strong to the values and morals, and let them understand why you don't break away from that. It makes you stronger. It'll make you a better man when you understand these things as a young boy.
Thank you. Gwen?
I
Gwen?
think Yes, I think it's very important to, you guys already mentioned it, to understand where young boys are standing now as morals and values. Be in their world, talk to them to know what they are living, and then talk about your own morals and values, so you can come together. Most of the time, we are tend to impose our morals and values rather than show them how we manage it. So it's, for me, it's understanding where they are and bring them together along by being the example, being the role model.
Great, thank you. Shiva?
I would say fathers, teachers, and other male figures, could take on the responsibility of being role models, demonstrating positive behaviors, and encouraging boys to develop their own moral compass. And speaking up when there is a necessity, not just like ignoring and moving on. When something bad is happening, when somebody is treating somebody bad, somebody needs to speak up, like say, hey, this is not right. And also providing a safe space, like if you have any doubts about what is the right morals or something, when we provide a safe space to come and ask doubts, that will enable them to develop their own beautiful moral compass. Yes.
Thank you, Shiva. Dipchand?
Thanks, Esra. Unfortunately, we're running short of on time, so we won't be able to get through all the questions. So I'll move straight on to question 15. What are some of the successful initiatives or programs that have made a positive impact on boys' lives? And one, how can we measure its effectiveness? And two, how can we ensure that they have a lasting impact? So let's start off with Todd.
In Ontario, we have Bell Let's Talk, which is an initiative put on it that it's an open forum for people to come talk about any sort of mental health issues that they have, and it's brought some awareness to my city that they have a mobile unit that comes through, and they leave some great information for people. But they also do a follow-up, and they just don't leave you for the day that they come here. They do some real good check-ins, and it's a great thing for Ontario. And I believe it's Canada-wide that we have this, and it's really got into our society, that there's options for people to not have to go to a therapist. It's right in our backyard, that you can go right to City Square and have some good conversations with people. So, and they follow through, which I think is great.
Excellent. Let's move to Shiva.
Yes, like surveys, interviews, and studies can help measure the long-term effects. So many programs can be taken to track their academic progress, behavioral changes, and emotional health improvements. And to ensure a long-term impact, these kind of like programs promoting positive masculinity and emotional well-being should be integrated into the school curriculum, involve community leaders, and create partnerships with local organizations. And additionally, sustainability can be achieved through continuous funding, training local mentors, and creating an ecosystem of support that includes parents, teachers, and peers.
Very good. Gwen?
For me, I'm very proud saying this, because we when we started 7 years ago as Mpowermen Foundation, we were the only one at the island bringing awareness to these challenges and issues about boys and men. So we have been doing every year the International Men's Day event to talk about role models and the different topics, but also throughout the year bringing awareness through events and seminars, and also our boy program. So for me, it's creating ways to keep bringing men and boys together. We also have a support group for men once a month, And there is where men come together and talk about their childhood traumas and talk about it's everything they are how do you say, everything they encounter. So it's keep creating, like we have been saying, the safe space and bringing people together. And how you can measure that. For us, we are at the point that we want to have more research. We don't have enough research on the island. So we would like to partner up with psychologists and other people and get funding to do research, because the last research in the paper we have called the boy problem, and that's done in 2009. And so we don't have research, and we measured what we do, but in a minimal scale. So we would like to have more funding to do bigger research, to see also how effective our programs are.
Right. Thank you, Gwen and Daniel.
I've been involved with multiple support groups across the state, the country, peer support, people with lived experience coming in and sharing space, educating. Also, we have a program for boys learning how to dance. Another one's about to start lifting weights and other sports. So quite a few out there.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. Thank you so much, Daniel. Esra, I know you have to leave. I mean, it's what, 6:37 a Sunday morning for you. You probably had a sleepless night. Can you stay a bit longer? If you need to go, that's fine. We understand.
I can stay about more like 5 minutes. Not sure how long this will take.
Okay.
But
All right. Well, let's go to question 17 then. And for the panel, go ahead, Esra.
okay, so please elaborate on the call to action plans you have in the works. Daniel?
I just got called. We're about to develop a program to mentor young boys with lifting weights, that they have an environment they're welcome, they're supported, and knowing that they're part of a community that can make a difference for their body, their mind, and what they're doing around them.
Amazing. Thank you. Todd?
We are meeting with young boys and showing the importance of gut health and proper dietary, so that it obviously affects every party emotionally, and that we're really looking forward to get that going.
Awesome. Gwen?
For us, is our conversation, so that people can participate next week in our conversation. And we are working on more record everything we do, so the conversation can get also throughout our island. But also boys program, we are preparing for our summer boys program. And yes, to keep on doing the holistic part of teaching boys to be more, yes, aware of who they are.
That's incredible. Thank you. Shiva?
Yes, so I have plans to approach schools to raise awareness of the emotional and mental health challenges boys face, and I'm definitely going to provide discounts, especially for men in my services, because that trauma from their childhood while being a boy is still impacting them. So, and I'm knowing more of that today. So I'm definitely going to introduce discounts, especially for men.
Thank you so much for doing that, Shiva. It's amazing. And Todd, we've had you. I think we had everyone. Yeah. Dipchand?
Well, as it's 6:40 a.m. for you. Would you want to give your final thoughts, and then I'll take over to the rest of the program. We're almost at the end, anyways.
Yeah. Thank you, all of you, for being part of this special occasion. Daniel, Gwen, Todd, and Shiva. It was very insightful and a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you so much, Ezra, and I hope you have a good day. Get some sleep. You
Take
might
care,
need.
everyone. Yep.
Thanks, Ezra. So,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Bye, Ezra. So, before I ask for your final thoughts on the program tonight, or this morning rather, I would just want to give some additional information about our group. Here's some contact information from us. Our phone number is 226-289-8784. Our email address is info@voiceofmen360.org. And our website is www.voiceofmen360.org. So we welcome everyone to join us at some point. Encourage your friends to be part of our group as well. You can contribute, you can offer suggestions, criticisms, whatever the case. We welcome it all. We do have a Facebook group page. Please join our group so you can see our daily activities. Please invite your friends as well. We are on pretty much all social media platforms: Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. And we do have a YouTube channel, Voice of Men 360. Please subscribe and join us. And we have lots of videos on there. You can gain a wealth of knowledge and information from. Thank you so much for everyone for participating today. And just one quick note, I'm sorry, Ezra, it's 6:40 p.m., not Sunday morning. Thanks for the correction. So to the panel out there, we've been through a very inspirational and knowledgeable session. I thank you all for that. And if you can offer your final thoughts now, I'd really appreciate that, starting with Gwen.
Yes. For me, it has been a pleasure, and it's really important to keep on supporting boys, because as women, we would like a great partner. So it starts with building and bringing awareness and loving boys at the early age, so they can be a good man for themselves and then for the family, and also contribute to the community. So for me, it has been a pleasure being here, but also I'm really passionate about this topic, and keep on connecting people so we can create more awareness.
It's been a pleasure for us too. Thank you, Gwen, very much. Shiva?
Yes, it has definitely been such a pleasure being here. And I got to know so much of knowledge and even personal experience from Todd and Daniel. That was really amazing. Looking forward to connect more with you guys and serve for better mental health for the boys. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiva. It was our pleasure as well. Thanks for being part of this program. Todd?
It's definitely been a pleasure. And Gwen, I think you're exactly correct when you talked about supporting the young boys now so they can be good men, good leaders, good fathers, good partners. So that's exactly why we do this.
Yes.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure having you as well, Todd. We certainly appreciate your input. And Daniel?
I want to say that it's a great honor to be here to share my experience and knowledge with y'all. And my hope is that I've shared some golden nuggets and some seeds with y'all. And I know the work sometimes is difficult, but I want to thank you for all that you've done, all that you're doing, and all that you're about to do. So thank you.
Much appreciated. And the sentiments are likewise. It's been a pleasure having you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of our podcast for today. But before I go, I would like to say a massive thank you to our esteemed panelists, Gwen, Leuteria, Geoffrey, Pande, Mutal, who unfortunately couldn't actually be. He desperately tried, but due to technical difficulties, he couldn't be here. Shiva Ranjani, Daniel, John Rossi, and Todd Clayton for sharing their fantastic insights and expertise. Our deepest appreciation also to the wonderful audience out there who was so gracious to spend this time with us. To my amazing co-host Esra for a job well done, and to our president Sivam, the one who is not only pulling all the strings to ensure as seamless a broadcast as possible, but who has worked tirelessly and diligently behind the scenes to produce this wonderful program. As we conclude this meaningful and productive discussion on the World Day of the Boy Child 2025, we hope our conversation inspires action and awareness. Let's continue to work together to create a world where every boy can not only thrive, grow, and reach their full potential, but once having done so, be respected and appreciated for their integral contribution to society. Until next time, let's keep the conversation going and the momentum building for the betterment of boys worldwide. From all of us here at Voice of Men 360, have a fabulous day. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet all of you guys. The most important thing is that the panelists and also our guest and also the host, Dipchand and Esra, every single one of you guys. But the most important thing is, as we are speaking, we lose some lives somewhere in the world. So we respect each one of you guys. At the same time, those who cannot make it because who couldn't make it because of very short notice, but unfortunately, their voice will be heard hopefully in the next in the near future. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Thanks a lot.
Every year on May 16th, we celebrate World Day of the Boy Child. This special day is dedicated to raising awareness about the unique challenges and opportunities facing boys around the world. Boys encounter a wide range of challenges as they navigate through life. From societal pressures to gender stereotypes, they often face obstacles that can impact their well-being and development. But amidst these challenges, boys also possess incredible strengths, resilience, and potential. They are artists, athletes, scholars, and leaders in their own right. Voice of Men 360 invites you to commemorate the World Day of the Boy Child. Let's celebrate the diversity and talents of boys everywhere. Let's empower them to embrace their uniqueness, follow their passions, and strive for their dreams. Together, let's create a world where every boy has the opportunity to thrive, succeed, and make a positive impact. Happy World Day of the Boy Child. Every year on May 16th, we celebrate